Episode 93 of The Blathering, and I'm already looking at pictures of King Charles. That's we'll get to that in a second. Hey, everybody, I'm Ken Apslock. I think I'm live, and sometimes I do that every week as a jokingly befuddled version of myself. I don't know. I think I am. Laser Bolt's in chat. He sees me. He hears me. Touch me. Feel me. The problem is StreamYard is you log in tonight. I use StreamYard for this show. I use OBS for some shows. And mostly live, says Trey T. Almost live. Great sketch comedy show out of Seattle in the 80s into the 90s. Lord Robles here says, we see you. I signed in tonight, and StreamYard was like, we might not be working. Give it a go. See what you can come up with. So I went live, and then it said, no, not now. Try again later. So I wasn't sure if I was even going to be on this show tonight, but we're here, and we got some good friends hanging out with us. This is The Blathering Live. I'm Ken Napzok. You probably know that because I'm a dumb face. And it's episode 93 of this ongoing show. Thank you to those that listen on the podcast feed. I'm going to be sitting down and doing some podcast only shows soon, so subscribe to the Napzok Network while you're over there. Program update: our biggest win with Robbie and Ken is not done. Just we're waiting for both of us to heal up and be in the same space at the same time. So stay tuned for that. Housekeeping. Mike's here. Seattle says hi. I love Seattle. God damn it, I love Seattle. That saying GD this early in the show might get me demonetized again on the rewatch, but I don't care. I don't know if I'm going to get back there this year. We were up there in December, Christmas Eve. We flew back Christmas Eve, so that final week before the Christmas holiday. Rainy, windy, cold, bitter cold, and I loved it, man. Loved it. A lot of you checking in here. Welcome. If you're just joining the show, here's the deal. I'm going to blather. I'm talking about things that are on my mind, things that might not even be on my mind at the start of the show. They might come to be, but I want your questions. And if you're in chat, you got a question for me, ask. Post it. If you're on Twitch, post it. If you're on Facebook, post it. If you're watching live here on YouTube, post the question. You want to get my attention and want to force me to look at your question? Super chats always help. Or you could tip the show with a couple of different options if you want to help support Morning Drive Media, which is me. It's my company. I'm Morning Drive Media. Me. We got some ways to do it. And we'll be taking live calls as we love to do around these parts. Those come from our YouTube channel members and our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/catnapsock. Go over there. There's a post that has a StreamYard link, audio only. And you can come in here and ask me a question. You're not hanging out for a conversation. You're asking me a question or two. All right. We got questions already coming in here. Color Jerry also checking in on Twitch. Love when Color Jerry's here. So apparently ankle socks are now for old people. I'm old Jerry. Yeah, we're going to be talking about this here. I said that like I was an AM news talk show host on a conservative brand. I want to approach this carefully here. But we will be talking later in the show on this headline I saw. Gen Z has officially canceled ankle socks. Quote, they're for old people. This reads like an Onion headline. And then they use this stock photo of angry youngsters with their arms crossed. They look like they're on some, they're all like back-to-back, arms crossed, just furrowed brows, side-eyeing everyone. I don't know where they got this stock photo, but it's perfect because it did its job. It made me mad. I don't even know the details of the article. It's on Yahoo. I don't need to know that. I'm here to defend ankle socks. That's what we're going to be doing here in a bit on the show. And I want your calls about ankle socks. That's right. Has that ever been said on the internet before? I'm sure today there's many hot takes. I want your calls on ankle socks. Yay or nay? This isn't about what works for one person. This is about what works for all of us. I just, who gets to decide your ankle socks or how high they can go? That's what I want to know. Trey T's got a hot take. He says F socks. He's checking in there. But Trey T's from the Pacific Northwest. Trey T's in the Pacific Northwest, and got to be honest, and he's in Oregon. He's not up in Seattle where Mike's checking in from. Mike on chat says Seattle says hi, and Mike is more north. They need socks up there. Anyone near Eugene, Corvallis, up to Portland, they're not having a ton of socks. They're Birkenstocking it, but they're not socking it. So I don't trust your opinion. I don't trust your opinion, Trey T. I do. I love Trey T. We do have a caller lined up. I'm excited to get to this caller soon in a second, but she's going to wait just a little bit longer. We have a real bona fide author coming on the show here in a second, and I have a question for her. I think she might have a question for me, but I have a question for her because it's something that happened to me this week. But I have a very important question to get to. First, I want to shout out Will McLean, re-upping as a channel member. Channel members get to call into the show, or Patreon supporters. Jerry the Cannon Junkie, who I've had the pleasure of interacting with more in the last couple of weeks than I have ever. I've known of him, Jerry and Scotty, the Bombad podcast. I've met them. Scotty usually, if he's in the room, he's gonna fill it, and I mean that in a good way, because that can be taken wrong. Scotty fills the room, and I think Jerry's the quiet guy with the beard in the corner, and I identify with that. I'm a quiet guy in the corner, despite me blathering on here. But Jerry has a very important question. Favorite type of pie? And Dylan's got some comments on the socks here. I'm going to save all your sock comments here. Jerry the Cannon Junkie says favorite type of pie. I will say this here. I like pie filling more than I like the entire pie. I think pie crust can dominate. I think I have a problem with dominating pie crust. But the filling, as long as there's coconut far away from it, keep the coconut in another part of life. I'm good with any kind of pie. But a good, like a banana cream pie, extra calories, that's what I go for. But cherry pie is one of my favorites. Blueberry pie. Laser Bolt's back at me on the cherry pie with Cool Whip. So it's a great question, Jerry. I don't have a lot of pie. You can take that out of context if you want. I don't care. But yeah, I go straight for the filling. Unapologetically, go for the filling. I'll leave the pie crust behind. Like, I don't do that on pizza crust. All of it in my mouth on pizza crust and pizza. Just had lunch today with some pals. You've probably heard of them. Mark Ellis, Brian Perez, and Christian Ruvacaba. We had lunch today, and I didn't leave a piece of food behind. All bread in my mouth, all crusts in my mouth. Pie, I leave crust behind. Jerry says, I'm not hot on coconut either. Coconut is offensive. Let's just say what it is. It's rough, it's coarse, it gets everywhere. I don't like coconut at all. This taste is okay. Like if you give me one of these like weird little sport drinks and it has like coconut, pineapple, tropical, I'm good with that. I was at a tiki bar last night. And the whole place kind of smells like coconut. I expect that there. Not on my pie. Jerry's a key lime pie man. An underrated pie, I'll say. An underrated pie. You guys got some great sock quotes coming in here when we get to the sock conversation. Figure Report is. Figure Report is here. Michael is here. Everyone follow the Figure Report if you like good figure, action figure, and toy-related collectible content. Says, I'll give them my ankle socks if they can pry for my cold, dead feet. Yeah, and you'll need that. Jerry the Cannon Junkie says, my socks are ankle and no show. I guess it's official. See, you can go both ways. Socks are on a spectrum. Let's say that. Oh, man, I've upset Michael. Sir, hold your opinion in high esteem. So it's disappointing to hear you don't like coconut, such as a coconut cream pie. Nope. And no, if you put it in ice cream, that's a sin against God himself or herself or their self. Whatever you want to refer to God, they don't like it. Coconut should not be near a lot of things. I don't know. It's the texture. It's a texture thing, says Jerry the Cannon Junkie. Super chat coming in. Thank you from everybody, Laserbolt. Just one of my favorites. And not because he gave me the super chat. I mean, maybe a little bit tonight. Favorite steak and how do you like it cooked? Love you, buddy. You know what? Tri-tip. Go with a tri-tip on that. And I used to be a well-done guy. Here's the thing. And I know it's controversial. I know people are, going to start yelling at me just like you were yelling at me last week about the wedge salad. I was a well-done guy on steaks and burgers because I was raised half raised by a Russian, a Ruski, Circassian Ukrainian, Graz, Austria born father. And because of his upbringing in America, after he was born in Graz, Austria, moved over here at 1.5. But my father was raised by two immigrants from Ukraine and Circassian immigrant. We used to say Russians, but we'll divide the lines up now as we should. My grandmother was born in Kyiv. So they, came over post World War II. They went through World War II. They got run out of the country. Some of you have heard the story. My grandfather was captured and press ganged into the German army. I'll say German army, so I don't say the actual name of the army and get struck down or demonetized here on YouTube. But you know the one I'm talking about. And he escaped them, but was captured. And after that, Stalin, being the great man that he was, Stalin refused to let, with many other people, not just my grandfather, but my grandfather was not allowed back into the Soviet Union from 1945 to he passed away about 5-6 years ago now. Never allowed to go back to the country. Was denied access in the 70s and early 80s when his mother passed away and he tried to go back to the country. One of the reasons I won't travel to Moscow now. Well, there's some other reasons. Bigger reasons right now. But I'm not convinced that my name isn't on that list too. My last name, my surname. Anyways, they raised my father to eat everything. Eat. Kenny, eat. So no gizzard left behind. No gizzard left behind. So there routinely would be like, we'd go to the store, you'd get a chicken, and then you'd boil every part of the chicken. And that was disturbing to me as a youngster. So just having a steak, and if there's any kind of pink, any kind of raw, any kind of blood, little Kenny was out. Little Kenny did not want any part of this. So that has changed over the course of time. Again, I went to mostly vegan out of the pandemic. I'd like to get back to that. I do have some meat from more than even now again. I'm trying to pull back on it. But today I had some kill me. I had some sliders today, and the sliders might kill me. But I've switched a little bit. I'll do medium well. I like it cooked. I like it cooked enough to where I can be convinced that the cow is dead. I don't need to re-kill the cow. You fry them. I don't fry the steaks. I don't cook steaks in the house anymore. 8984 forum says my parents are the same. Took them decades to have some red in their beef. Yeah, it was a kid thing. It was a kid thing. I can eat steak as long as it's not cold. Cooking on windows and all that. David's here. Said watching here on YouTube. I made a meatball sub for dinner. This is great. Kyle Harlow's here. What's up, Kyle? Good to have you here. Did your grandfather ever watch Rocky IV? And if so, how did he like it? He would have. I don't know if my grandfather would have watched Rocky IV. Number one, anything. My grandfather, he would rather do a crossword puzzle or read books. He's very well read. But my grandfather. And Jeff May. Everyone, shout out to Jeff May. Steak medium rare, ground beef medium well. I'll take that. May. I'll take that. Highlight. Put a pin in the grandfather's thought. This is the blathering. This is what I do. I choke on my whiskey and I blather to all sorts of places. And we got 2 calls lined up. I can't wait to get to. Jeff May, I appeared on his I Must Break You show yesterday. I literally pretty much had to sit on Jeff's lap to do the show. Check that out on his YouTube channel. And also today, the episode of Nerd. Me and his co-host and producer Dre went through the 1995 Power of the Force 2 line of Star Wars toys and talked about our memories there. As far as my grandfather in Rocky, to Kyle Harlow's question, my grandfather loved rooting against Russia. Okay, and I'm saying Russia is a general term. He was not fond. Again, he was Circassian, and there's the dividing lines are clear. They might not have been clear to us growing up behind the red curtain, but they were clear. So he was, and I'll tell the story as short as I can. So he was in the Circassian Army, which fought alongside the Red Army, the Russian Army. It's all part of the Soviet Army. But they were not seen as equals. They were captured by the German Army. Again, I won't say that N word because that you shouldn't. There's a lot of N words you shouldn't say in life. I don't mind saying the one about the German Army, but YouTube doesn't like when you say it. So they were captured by them, and at one point, the Russians in captivity started beating up the Circassians because what else are you going to do? And my grandfather was about 5'2", 5'4", maybe at his prime. Probably passed away at 5 foot, but my grandfather, always short, strong like bull, beat the crap out of him. And so at some point, the Germans said, we're adding to our ranks, and either you're added to our ranks or you're dead. And my grandfather was press ganged into their army and fought for a couple years until he told me the harrowing story of his final moments of World War II. I think fighting against the French and Allied armies, running down a hill, bullets whizzing over his head, fallen German soldiers calling his name for help, and he left them there. And he jumped. He said, "I left the battlefield. I jumped down a fence into a ditch where I was captured, and in his own words, the war ended for me." So that happens. War ends. 1945, the war ends. We have this tenuous, relationship with Stalin. We already had some doubts about Stalin at this point. Truman is now the president. Stalin, they talk about the thin blue line between police and criminals that exists, which is where that statement, the thin blue line, comes from. It's not a rah, rah, rah. It's like you could be a criminal, you could be a cop. There's a thin line between you. Stalin, ally, enemy, thin line between that. And so after the war, my grandfather tries to go back home. Not allowed. He met my grandmother in a camp where they were held for a few years by their own country. And then they came to America in 1951. So from that time to the time my grandfather passed away about 5-6 years ago, hated Russia. Proud of where he came from, proud of the homeland, proud of what it could have been, but hated the leadership. Would curse the very name of Stalin, would curse the name of Khrushchev, would curse the name probably of Yeltsin and Gorbachev. I didn't hang out with my grandfather when the wall fell. Hated Putin. My grandfather would talk often about how he hated Vladimir Putin and called him the new Stalin. So I think, to answer your fun question, Kyle, which you probably didn't mean to send me down this path, my grandfather would have absolutely watched Rocky IV, would have been rooting for Rocky to knock the hell out of Ivan Drago and get a punch back in for him against Stalin. There you go. We got a lot of questions. We got a lot of things. We are talking ankle socks. We're going to get to this. If you're just joining me tonight, we're going to be talking about Gen Z officially canceling ankle socks. But I got to talk a little bit, and I'm not here to go into details, but I think this might get some calls here, and I want to set them up. If they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to talk about it. I got Aaron and I got Romo lined up for some calls here. You want to be a caller? You got to be a channel member here. Everyone is talking about Harrison Butker, who's a kicker. He's a goddamn kicker for the Kansas City Professional Football Club, and he goes and has this commencement speech that, I'll just say this, is bizarre more than anything. I have it up. I have the full transcript up. I went to the National Catholic Register to get the full transcript, because I also think that's important. I'm a fan of context, right? I saw clips of his speech, enough to make me not like it. Enough there, but it's a bizarre, anti-COVID, anti-Fauci, anti government leadership during that time. Got it, fine. I don't agree with you, but I'm not here to. We're through it. I have some thoughts on your lack of empathy, but whatever. But it's a graduation commencement speech, and it's a political stump speech for Harrison Butker, who's 28, by the way. He's a goddamn kid. You don't know yourself at 28, and he's chuffed. He's wearing suits. He thinks he's rich and powerful. He's a goddamn kicker. Tony Zendejas, Mike Langford, Tony Franklin. These were kickers. All right, Pete Stoyanovich. Harrison Butker. And he's a good kicker. But your skill at sports should not necessarily translate to the respect you automatically get as a human. Anyways, I don't want to go through it. I'll say this: I don't. A lot of people are trying to get him fired. I don't care. I don't care. Say what you want to say. Say what you want to say. I'm not here for that. Don't take his job. They took Colin Kaepernick's job, but different conversation, maybe. I don't think so, but maybe. But it was his speech. The moment. Here's where I get upset. So he says this: for the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment, graduating college. You should be proud of all you've achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here right now, about to cross this stage, and thinking about all the promotions and titles you're going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you bring into the world. And this, he goes on to talk about his wife, Isabel, and then says, she's a great mother, raises kids, which, by the way, we're going to get to. That's not a problem. That's not a bad thing. But he says, he says, he says she may not have had her dreams come true. Here's the line. Isabel's dream of having a career might not have come true, but if you asked her today if she has any regrets on her decision, she would laugh out loud without hesitation and say, heck no, which, again, is her choice and her prerogative. This isn't about one way being right or one way wrong. Here's the big problem I have, because obviously this is just hogwash and bunk. By the way, if you ever get the chance to work for a company run by women, take it. Take it. It's a better run company. In my days as a public safety director, working for a lot of gentlemen, a lot of retired police officers, that company not run as well. The malls we worked for, usually run and operated by women, ran smoothly. If you ever have the opportunity to work for women, take it and be lucky you're there. But if again, this should be unspoken, but if you as a woman want to go be a homemaker, that is wonderful. If you want to go be a CEO, or like Harrison Bucker's mom, like a very esteemed like physicist and professor, and that's good as well. He got an applause break. He got like an 18-second applause break for this stuff. There is a People magazine article of a student there, a Susanna Lacing, who said, his speech was effing horrible. Some of us did boo. Me and my roommate definitely did. But she adds, there was a standing ovation from everyone in the room except for me, my roommate, and about 10, 15 other women. Bucker goes on to say a lot of things about his views on masculinity and fragile. He's a fragile soul. He's a fragile soul. It is this dumb narrative that if you're chopping wood and growing beards and you own a sidearm and you smoke a cigar, that's what a true man is, and they're trying to take that from you. And ain't no one trying to take you from that. You should know me. If you're smoking cigars, own a sidearm, and are chopping wood, I like you. I don't have a problem. It's not even that I have a problem with you. I like you. That's not what we're talking about men trapped in toxic masculinity. It's his kind. Harrison Butker is trapped in the prison of toxic masculinity. That he puts himself in the box. No one's taken away his manliness. No one's taken away his manliness. I need to stop and take a sip of a drink. That's my first whiskey of the day. No one's taking that away from him. No one. But it's this dumb narrative that goes around. That's the cultural war that's being fought. That's the dumb dividing line. And what upsets me is that there's people applauding this. I can't change Harrison Butker. I also think he's probably dealing with a lot of things. He's probably hiding behind a lot of things. There's already stories coming out, allegedly, from people going, hey, what about you and that male cheerleader in college? What about that? He's probably processing and hiding and trying to get away from a lot of his truths in his own life. But that's for him to work out and not me to care. It upsets me that this will be championed. This will be championed. And that there are people applauding this from him. That's where, and again, this is a goddamn kicker. Goddamn kicker. Eddie Haskell points out one of my favorite things. During the release schedule, The Sims was so great. It was the Chargers, I believe. It was the LA Chargers. who did their NFL release schedule. All the teams, the NFL schedule for 2024 came out yesterday. And every team did like something special. I think it was the LA Chargers that put all the teams in like the Sims. And it ended, and they had Harrison Butker in the kitchen cooking food for everyone, which, by the way, is great. I as a man, spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Grace doesn't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. There should be no gender norms around that kind of stuff, right? That's a given. But I love, it shouldn't be an insult, but it is an insult to someone like Butker. Chargers, God bless it. Anyways, did I go off on a rant? Probably. Did you all come here just to hang out while I talk about tube socks? Probably. But I want to take some calls. Sorry, I didn't even put my lower thirds up. I'm so upset. There you go. There's the show. Let's get to our first call of the day. And I don't want to put anyone on the hot seat if they don't want to talk about the Harrison Butker. They don't have to talk about Harrison Butker. This show, we go anywhere. We go everywhere. We're going to go to King Charles and his whatever the hell that is photo that was out today. Making her, I think, debut on the Blathering. A great soul, a professional author. She hails from the great white north. That is not Alaska, kids, Canada. Bringing her into the show here right now. Erin, the author, are you there? Can you hear me? How are you doing? And what's on your mind?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, you coming in so loud and clear? I can hear the snow. Is it snowing up there? Or is it hot?
No, it's not. It's actually quite nice, although it's very windy. So if you lose me, it's because the power went out.
Okay, I'll blame operatives on it. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, my friend?
Other than being mad at NFL kickers, I'm good. Actually, I like some of the kickers. Some of the kickers are good people. But what's on your mind?
Nothing really. I just promised you that I would come on. So there you go.
Erin is here, everybody. Take a bow. Erin's here. Erin, I have a potentially, it could be a depressing question or conversation, but I want to ask you how you're navigating this as an artist, and your art is writing. You're an author. How many books that you have out now?
6.
6 books, everybody. Do you have a website they can all find the books easily right now?
Yes. So it is just my name, Erin Parisian, PARISIEN.com.
ErinParisian.com. We'll put the link down here. Someone type that link down here in the chat because you all got to get her books. So as Erin, I was fortunate to write a book a couple years ago called Why We Love Star Wars, released in 2019. I received, I'm never going to get rich from one book. I'm never going to get rich from many books, maybe. Didn't do it for the fame. Didn't do it for the fortune. But I received a letter from my publisher this week that's saying basically, we really can't pay anybody anymore for a while. That your quarterly summary of your earnings, which was already laughable, it's already such a small amount they can't pay me out. They have to wait to a bare minimum. Fine, whatever. But they ask for our patience as the book market tries to recover, and I don't know what to do with that information anymore. Because I'm all for society change. I'm also for tech and new things, and brick and mortar isn't in as much. I know, but how do we navigate that as artists? One of our chosen fields is basically telling us pack up, ship out, or Erin, hopeful version. Are there new ways for you to find getting your stuff out there?
Yeah, so traditional publishing is at a huge crossroads, and by traditional, when we say traditional publishing, we're talking about big publishers who do the publishing for you. There's the big five, so Simon and Schuster, blah blah blah, and then there's a bunch of little independent publishers. But what's happened, and it's been a while now, it's been at least a decade, is that when Amazon created. What they did was they created basically their Kindle Direct program. And what that means is that you don't need a publisher to actually publish your work out there.
Yeah.
You are, in essence, the publisher.
And this will be referred to as self-publishing.
Or indie publishing, yeah.
I like that term because I think the term self-publishing can be looked at negatively or looked at with a side eye where we don't question it in any other. As a comic, I'm a self-publisher of my jokes. I get up on stage and do them at an indies. As a podcaster, this is a self-published show, if you want to look at it that way. So I felt like there's on from old school times. It's a stigma that shouldn't be attached to it. It's a good business model.
Right, exactly. So basically, so what happened is when Amazon opened this door, a bunch of people flooded through it, and some of them maybe not should have. So
Right.
that's kind of where the term self-publishing becomes a negative. So there is,
Yes.
even now to this day, there is still a bit of a stigma on the self-publishing indie publishing world,
Hmm.
in that, well, you self-publish because your work's not good enough for a traditional publisher,
Yeah.
which in a
Right.
lot of cases is absolutely not true.
Hmm.
Traditional
Mm.
publishing, like anything else, has very strict rules and very strict
Mm.
ideas about what book publishing is and the future of where it's headed. Whereas indie publishers have
Hmm.
kind of a different view on where indie publishing is heading and what our future looks like. The other one of the main reasons that I chose indie publishing over traditional was
Hmm.
because as an indie publisher, I am the publisher. I make all of the choices. I
Mm.
choose covers, I choose editors, I choose all
Yeah.
of the stuff. I choose release dates and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Whereas when you're in a traditional publishing contract, you basically hand them your manuscript and they come back to you and they say yes or no, and then off they go and they publish it. Usually
Yeah.
with traditional publishing, we're talking once a year if you're lucky.
Hmm.
You get a book
Hmm.
out. Also
Hmm.
with traditional publishing, you have to pay your agent and all of that kind of stuff. So basically, with the
Yeah.
difference between money wise, the difference between traditional and indie publishing is indie publishing. I get to make all the choices. I also get paid directly. I don't have to wait for the money to go
Yes.
through. I don't have to wait for quarterly, what have you, blah blah blah, this and that. I don't have to wait for advances to be paid out. All of that
So
stuff is off the
y-
table.
y- you don't get an email from the CEO of the small indie publisher you work for that says, "Sorry, no money this quarter. You
Yeah,
have earned some, but we're not going to give it to
yeah, exactly,
you."
exactly. So it, yeah.
See? Well, look.
And
No, continue it. I cut you off.
I
Go.
was
Go.
just gonna say, your indie publisher is not the only one that I've heard of who is having
Mm,
these issues at all. So it's not like it's a one single one off, with a lot of the smaller publishers,
yeah.
especially the big five. The big five
Yeah.
takes a lot of, yeah,
Yeah, and they're not, and I get the state, like I understand the logic behind it. This modern age, I get it. And someone who's also released music in the last year, like, yep, I get it. Spotify pays me 2 cents every. Yep, got it. But it's all I got, right? And this is all we got. But I really love your hopeful and smart, intelligent, eloquent way. You are truly a writer. And Laserbolt in chat wants to remind everybody, so what kind of books does Aaron write? Could you tell us a little bit about what your books are about?
sure. Aaron writes romance. A hopeless
Mm,
romantic, love a happily ever after. It's
yes.
it's the genre that I've been drawn. Well, it's funny because it's two. I'm drawn to two very different genres. So I absolutely love romance, and I absolutely love high fantasy. And I'm not writing high fantasy because there's way too much stuff that you have to do. You have to create
Yeah.
worlds and magic systems and all of that stuff, and I'm not doing that. So,
Yeah.
romance it is.
Romance it is. Sweeping romance novels. Maybe one day, maybe you can do a contest where Laserbolt or myself can be on the covers as the greatest romance cover models around, or
Absolutely.
maybe not, or maybe not. Aaron, you did it. I know you calling in is not a comfortable thing for you, but you did it, and I can't be happier about talking to you about this stuff.
Yay me.
Yay, you. All right, everybody. Aaron, thank you for calling in. I'm going to, if I can't get to it, maybe I'll try to do it right now. Drop that link in there, aaronparisian.com. And you too can buy some of her books, read, support independent authors doing it.
Exactly. So my tagline is that I don't care if you read it, but you got to buy it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, Aaron. Someone's going to drop that in there for me. I appreciate it. Thanks for calling in. Will you do it again, please, soon?
Yes, I will. Absolutely. And hi, Lauren.
Romo out, Aaron out. We're gonna get Lauren Romo in here next. I want to get her take on some of the stuff going on in the world. But thank you all for listening. If you're just joining me, this is the Blathering Live. I'm Ken Knapsack. You want to call in the show, become a channel member or a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/Ken Knapsack. You can do some stream elements if you want to support the show via tip, or you can super chat here as well. But don't forget the questions that actually, can be popped down here in chat. I want to. This isn't just a call-in show. It's also I look at your comments, and that gets us going for another round of topics. All right, we are going to be talking about tube socks in a second. John Mariano says, support Erin. She is fantastic, and he ain't wrong about that. All right, calling in the show now, bringing her in here, is the wonderful Lauren Romo, who I will shout out, just gifted me some wonderful skins on Fortnite, which if you take out of context sounds bad. But Romo, how you doing tonight? What's on your mind?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you? You doing all right?
Doing great, man. By the way, I got some. I'm playing around with some new lighting in the studio. I like my dark den of broadcasting, but I decided maybe lighten up my face just a little bit so I don't look as old and worn down as the old photo was. But I'm here having a good time, and you sent out a tweet today. I don't want to put you into the hot seat if you don't want to be in the hot
No,
seat.
go ahead. Bring it up, buddy.
But you put out a tweet today in response to this one section of Harrison Butker's commencement graduation speech at St. Benedict College. And you are a esteemed professional who has made certain decisions that people like Harrison Butker would say there's no way you could be happy in your life, and that you're lying to yourself. You're unfulfilled. What say you to this, and make sense of it?
Well, first of all, it doesn't make sense how someone can say all that and be honestly realistic with their intent.
Yeah. It's almost parody. Yeah.
No, it is. And I 100% agree with you. It is basically parody where we're at with things like this in the year of 2024. But I think what bothers me, I think the most out of what he said, and I'm so glad you brought the context in, Ken,
right?
Because it was at like you said, it was at a commencement speech.
Yeah.
And it was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was a Catholic college.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
In context, right. I think that it matters, right?
Yeah.
But again, if that's how he feels, that's how he feels.
Correct. Right.
Bless him for his feelings.
Bless you, Saint Butker.
Yeah, bless you, sir.
Bless you.
And if Harrison is, I mean, no disrespect to Mr. Harrison Ford, who's a wonderful Harrison, but the name Harrison just bleeds like white privilege to no degree, in my opinion. But I digress. So. I think what bothered me is that him basically telling a room full of graduating women that, hey, it's almost like it's basically a backhanded comment, like you brought it up earlier. Like, hey, congratulations on this huge accomplishment of graduating, which is a huge deal. It is a very huge deal for many people because it's hard work, as people that go through it and all that. Anyway. But for him to,
first in the family,
right, yes, exactly, 100%. But for him to basically say, "Hey, congrats on that. That's great." However, you really should be looking forward to being with, a husband and having a family, and I bet y'all are, looking forward to it, aren't you? Like, no, not every woman is looking forward to that. I can speak for me personally that I am 40, I am not married, and I do not have children. And that is by design for me. That is my choice.
And you cry every night with a pint of ice cream and a handkerchief, crying into a kerchief about your life.
Right. Because I'm so unfulfilled, apparently, because I am not what Mr. Kicker for the Chiefs believes that women should be. And it's just, it blows my mind that, again, in this, I mean, it shouldn't, but again, in 2024, we are still having conversations that we've been having for years. I mean, decades. I mean, probably since like the 50s, 60s. Like, that's where I feel like his mindset of, hey, this is how it should be. Because it was cool back then. It was awesome.
Yeah. It's fragile. And again,
yes,
as I always say, it should be unspoken, but I also feel in this modern era, caveats are important, and trying to show some understanding for the broader picture is important. My mother, all she wanted to do growing up was be a mother. That she did not have a large career outside of that until later on, when she did and had a very fulfilling career later on. But that was a choice that was right for her, and it's a choice that ended up being to a benefit for me for a while.
Right.
I wasn't a latchkey kid all of the 80s, but some of it I was later on. So it's not about that, and that's not certainly what you're not saying. But it's this fragile layer of thin-skinned masculinity that I think is more destructive than they realize. But also, he talks a lot in his speech about government and leaders doing things out of fear. And that drives me crazy. Wearing a mask is not fear. Wearing a mask is empathy. Wearing a mask is understanding the situation for others and for yourself, and it's 100%. A decision to make. Fear. That's the last 4 or 5 years, that word fear has been twisted around to where fear. I have a lot of my old friends in my old line of work, a lot of them with badges, who I don't get along with as much anymore. Where it's like your definition of fear is this false sense of strength. And that's the stuff that's twisted around, and then that's the stuff that's applauded that drives me absolutely insane. And I appreciate you speaking on it, and I appreciate you tweeting about it earlier today.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things that I don't do that a lot, and you probably know that, Ken, too. But when it's something that I really do feel very passionate about, like, I do have to say something. And I think what's even more bizarre to me, and I even said this too, is that, the notion of, again, if a woman isn't driven by these things, then they aren't fulfilled or anything like that. And again, his beliefs are his beliefs. He grew up Catholic and everything.
Yeah, that's not on trial for me. Yeah, that's
right.
Catholicism is not on trial for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's, I think, the kicker for me, really.
Oh, pun intended?
Pun intended.
Okay.
Pun intended, Ken. Pun intended. Is that I grew up, again, this is no shame, I grew up Catholic too. My mom and my dad grew up, we grew up that way. Yeah. But what's really, I think, what he says is so kind of bizarre to me is that my parents did not push those like ideas onto me or my other siblings. Like they weren't telling us, oh yeah, like especially me and my younger sister, like, hey, when you get, just, go to school, but then, get married, have kids. Like that's what it's all about. Right. No, they told us to be happy in doing what we are happy doing, no matter what that is, no matter if that involves children or not, involves whatever, beliefs you believe in. That's how they raise me and my, my siblings. And it's like, then are they bad parents in your, world? Then they're Harrison, like, because they don't follow your line of thinking in the same type of household that apparently you grew up in. I might have grew up something similar, possibly. I don't know. Can't, definitely say that. But my point being is that doing that, saying those things is very dangerous. Like you kind of brought up earlier, it's wild to think that in a day and age that we are in, that we, like I said earlier, that we are still in this mindset of some, and not the broad bunch, but some people are in the mindset that, there are, that these things are the only way, and that if people don't do that, they are not going to be happy and they're not going to be fulfilled in their life. And that's just totally that's not true. Yeah. It's just not true anymore.
I well said. Lauren Romo, everybody. Lauren Romo coming in here and just preaching the truth, and I appreciate you speaking on it. And I think it's again, this is a lack of empathy. I struggled. I think there was an expectation that marriage and kids were just the norm, the next step.
Right.
It was never, I'm engaged in a long term relationship with no plans for marriage and no plans for kids. And I think I would describe my parents as coming to grips and terms with that in a positive way.
Hmm.
But there were some years where there was not an understanding, and I get it, and I get some of the, I don't even want to call it traditional trappings of there, but it is the norm, and it's okay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm going to a baby shower or a baby birthday, whatever you want to say, on Saturday,
Hmm.
seeing my friend's baby for the first time. So it's not about that, but anyways, but my folks. I understood their struggle, unlike your folks who said, "Hey, go be you." My parents kind of had a little bit of an struggle of hey,
Right.
you're not following the plan.
Right. And again, it's just so it's bizarre how I think, again, you can,
Yeah.
how the environments are presented to us as kids.
Mm,
It could be very similar. Like, yeah, grew up in maybe certain ways, but then, you know, how our parents interpreted things and how other people's parents interpret things
yeah.
and what they want for their kids are totally different. And that's what makes the world, right? That
Yeah.
generates growth, I think, in a lot of ways. Is again, people maybe growing up in similar fashions, but then being able to see outside of that and see, hey, maybe there is a different way or another way
Mm,
that is still fulfilling and can bring
yeah.
happiness to people.
Well, again, well said, Lauren. You hit on the things I wanted to hit on there, and you know what? We're not even getting to Mr. Butker and his um, his homophobic remarks
Oh,
and
we don't want to go
transphobic
there.
remarks, and a lot of that in there as
That's a
well.
whole
You know
another
what?
20
Yeah,
minutes.
we'll leave that. We'll leave that for now
We'll
because
pin that one.
I rejected I rejected on all levels from him. But I got to say, I was lost on the internet today, looking at a little bit here.
Hmm.
I think we're gonna find out
Oh yeah.
he is working through some things,
Yep.
and I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
Romo, thanks for calling in. I'll see you on Fortnite. I appreciate you checking in, and thanks for the Zori Bliss Fortnite skin gift, which again, out of context, doesn't make a lot of sense.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. You're welcome, buddy. I'll talk to you. Yep. See you on that Fortnite field for sure.
All right. See you soon. Lauren Rome, everybody. Check out the Galactic podcast to get more great thoughts. Ventress watching on Twitch says, wait, we're not supposed to go to college? Only get MRSs? We'll all be. Yeah. Exactly. Ventress, I'm sure, might have some things to say on that, too. Going back to the John Marianos, as well said. Quickly going back to the artist conversation. On Facebook, our buddy Brady Dugas checked in here. Says, as a musician, I write, produce, and distribute my music and take all the proceeds, but not a lot of new buyers unless I hit iTunes, Amazon Music, and so on. And I'm okay with that for now. The money is not good at all, but at least I'm the harbinger of my own success or defeat. It's hard to make a living if you don't have a record company support, but websites and iTunes, Amazon Music, and so on have made the playing field a little bit more palatable. I've always been of mind that if you in the comment goes up. I don't get it. But anyways, the spirit of that comment is something I agree with Brady, and I think I'm always going to take the good over the bad, even though you can't put the bad aside of this modern age where I got a studio here in my house and I'm broadcasting, and everyone can get on, and anyone can talk, and anyone can put their stuff out there. And there's varying perspectives, there's varying skill levels, there's varying levels of success, and it's not always fair. It's not always just who succeeds and who doesn't. But we have smashed down those gates. I released music last year with the Moon Agers, me, Sean, and Brian, and it was a lot of fun. We got some more stuff on the way. Sidetracked a little bit, but that doesn't happen 5, 10, 15, definitely not 20 years ago, not 25 years ago when I moved to LA, that we could just get together in multiple locations around the country. We even got a new track with some drums that were done over in Sweden. So truly a world event. And that doesn't happen 20 years ago. So I'll take the good with the bad. Take the good with the bad. Aaron says, what I like about the indie scene is the elimination of the gatekeepers. There you go. Who may or may not actually know what's going to be hit or popular. I agree with that there. You are hanging out with me. You're hanging out with me on the Blathering Live. We're having a lot of fun. We're getting into some serious topics. We might get into some silly topics. This is what we do. If you got a super chat or want to support the show, you can do so. You can also go to streamelements.com/KenNapzok/tip, or you can go, there's a link down below if you're watching on YouTube, and you can go to the shop and get one of these nice little Team Zoc beanies here. Also want to highlight on my Patreon page, we got the Young Guns movie commentary. I'm working on Young Guns 2. This time you're actually going to see the video. I just did audio on that. Well, there's even a video file, but it's audio. Because you don't want to get in trouble for broadcasting a movie. You got to be careful with that stuff there. Also, check out my website, KenNapzok.com, and head to the shop. I'm selling some collectibles. Got updated information on comedy shows coming soon. A lot of fun there. All right, we've got some calls lined up here. But before, I want to get into this because we're teasing it. No, we'll do this top of the hour. Okay, here we go. Top of the hour, 6 o'clock, here in the Blathering. We're going to go to this headline I saw of Gen Z has officially canceled ankle socks. They're, quote, for old people, says the article on yahoo.com. And I want to get into that. Kingsport Cal just became a channel member for 12 months. He's been a member for 12 months. Going to self-publishing in the self-indie scene. Jeff May, host of many fine shows that I think I've been on all of them in the last week, and I'd do it again. I would not have a career if I didn't self-publish. And yeah, that is true. All right, let's bring him here now. You know what? No, I'm going to make him wait a little bit more. Instead, I'm going to bring in Steve. Steve's been calling in, get with some hot sports takes. Calling in about life, the universe, and everything. Steve, you're on the show. What's on your mind tonight on the Blathering?
How's it going, Ken? Thanks for having me back.
Good. Oh, good to have
Appreciate
you back,
it.
sir.
Thank you. So I got two things for you. I got one topic,
okay,
and I've got a little this or that game for us at the end.
Love it.
So forgive me if you've put these takes or if you've put these any opinions out elsewhere, and I just haven't seen them yet. But I imagine you saw the news about the new Lord of the Rings Gollum movies that are being planned in the future, and I'm very curious as to your initial thoughts on that.
I am a fan in general of the idea. I'm a fan of Jackson's Lord of the Rings films. I've come to appreciate the Hobbit films a little more than I did, but there's a lot of things going on in that film aren't just simply Jackson's fault or a problem or a money grab. There's a lot of issues in the making of that film that have been well documented. So because of that, I've understood the movies a little bit better, and I connected the themes more than I did before. Big fan of the Rings of Power show. I actually really like season 1. I'm looking forward to season 2 of Rings of Power. So I'm a fan of this stuff, and I'm looking forward to the War of the Rohirrim animated movie that's coming out, I think, later this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
This is Tolkien created this amazing world. As much as I love Star Wars, as much as I love Game of Thrones, I don't know if a world's as in depth as Tolkien's Middle Earth world. So it can be explored, and there's stories to be explored. I understand if anyone's dubious of the idea, if anyone's wary of the idea, if this is just IP being thrown on our faces, if it's an idea with no legs, I at least trust the people behind it enough, including Andy Serkis as a director, to follow the string out, so to speak, and approach it with hope, if that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense, and I really agree with you too on Rings of Power and the kind of the world building Tolkien did. One of the things I really appreciate about a lot of the shows that you do, Ken, is just the kind of the aura of positivity and being allowed to enjoy things. I feel like in 2024 we're not allowed to enjoy things the way we used to.
Yeah.
Not everything that comes out is the greatest thing ever, but I still, I will watch whatever Disney puts out for Star Wars just so I can live in that galaxy for 22 to 180 minutes or whatever it is, 120 minutes, whatever it is in that piece of content, right?
Yeah.
And so same thing with the Middle Earth, same thing with Rings of Power. I really enjoyed the first season. I was just so happy to be in that space again, hearing Elvish and things about, stories and everything, all that, just loved it. But yeah, just being able to enjoy things. I think that's important.
I think it's very important. And Aaron, the author, pops in here and says, makes sense because Gollum is an interesting character, and there's plenty of meat to chew on that story. I agree with that. Yeah, there is this is what's been going on for a while. Now I get it, but I just think Rings of Power is a great example of a show that had the deck was stacked against it early on, And look, it's Amazon. It's Bezos, his dream nerd project, and all the money thrown at it. And there's a rights issue. There's the rights in the Tolkien estate. It's so confusing. It's convoluted. So what they were even to do, and then you're always going to compare it to the books, and you're always going to compare it to the world. I get it, but I thought the show didn't get a fair shake for just what it set out to do, what it accomplished, the emotions it brought out, and not everything has to work, and not like you just said. But I think I think we're so predisposed to jumping online to hate it because it's just easier that way. It's just easier to be that way, and as opposed to taking in what the artists are giving you. That's why we say at Force Center, engage with the story presented to you. That might, in the end, be more rewarding for you. Again, doesn't mean everything has to work. I get a little grumpy sometimes and have a little fun with folks, including Aaron the author, on some Star Wars stuff. But I think approaching it with an open heart's the best way. So I'm looking forward to Rings of Power 2. So anyways, great question, Steve. Number one, and you're not done.
No, I've got one more thing for you. I thought we'll play just a quick little this or that game on my way out. I don't have any hot. Sorry about the mic squeak. I don't have any hot sports takes today, but we're gonna play a little this or that with twin movies. I'm gonna give you a few twin movies, and you're telling me which one is better.
You're a good producer, Steve. You're a good producer.
Thanks, Ken. No, appreciate that. So I've got a few for you, and then a wild card at the end here. So first up, Fast Times at Ridgemont High or Dazed and Confused? What's the better coming of age, more enjoyable film?
I'm gonna go. Gosh, I'm only. This is weird to say. Only passingly familiar with both of them, so I don't have a lot of quotes from either of them. I'm gonna say if I had to sit down and choose one, watch one right now, I'd probably watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Very good, very good. I agree with you. I think on that one, it's close, but I think I agree with you on that one. Spicoli is just a legendary character. All right, next one. Okay. Armageddon or Deep Impact?
This is the timeless question, right? I think a lot of people refer to these as this is the two big examples. Maybe Tombstone and Wyatt Earp, right, of movies made at the same time, and this continues to happen, right? We have two competing nuclear Holocaust movies being made. one based off of Annie Jacobson's book, which I haven't picked up yet, and Annie Jacobson is a great author, investigative reporter, wrote the great book on Area 51. And there's another one that just was announced too about what happens if nuclear blast goes off. So this is a timeless question. I do love both of them. Armageddon is a pop song, right? Quite literally, and I love everything about it. I saw it in theaters, I think, a couple times. But I was a big fan of Deep Impact. It's a little bit more of the prog rock ballad that's going to hit a little deeper on some of the emotions. I was a big fan of Taya Leone at the time, and I thought she nailed the stuff in that film. And I think I stop the show tonight and go to my living room and I'm going to watch one. I'm going to watch Deep Impact tonight.
That's a good take.
Yeah,
I would have. I thought I would have had. I thought Aerosmith would have put Armageddon over the top for you, but I respect the.
Look, you're getting a lot of Armageddon support. Kingsport Cal says Deep Impact. Don't Look Up says 8984M. I like. Look, I really like. It's what Armageddon's Michael Bay, and like, I get it. Like, why people might not like it, but I get why people love it, and I think it's okay to love it. It's some good fun fluff. Like, who doesn't want to do a slow motion hero shot like they got in that movie at the end? I think it works, but I just remember being more moved by Deep Impact.
All right, I got two more, and then a wild card question at the end here. I'll make them quick. All right, this one's more of a deep cut. K9 or Turner and Hooch?
Turner and Hooch, man, and Turner and Hooch provides us quite a lesson. You don't kill the dog, as Tom Hanks has said many times. But I'm going Turner and Hooch. I loved that film.
All right, one for the kids. Ants or Bug's Life?
You're good, man. You're good. Timeless as well. Well, it's unfortunate. Which one stars Woody? It's Bug's Life, right?
I believe yes. I think so.
Yes. Yeah. I always enjoyed that one, and maybe looking back through time, maybe we don't anymore. I don't know, but like Ants again, solid, big, kind of the pop song, but A Bug's Life had a little bit more going for me, and I saw that in the theater as well.
Bug's Life had the better characters. I think you had a more more
Yeah.
well-rounded cast with Bugs
And-
Life.
And look at that. Oh, okay. Ants. All right. Okay, I made the right choice. Ants is
Ants is
Woody.
Woody.
Bugs
Yep,
Life. Okay, so I made the right
Okay.
choice. Bugs
Okay.
Life is Ken Plume in chat points out Bugs Life is Dave Foley, which I
Got it.
98% behind Dave Foley. His alien stuff gets me a little bit, but that's yeah, I made the right decision.
All right, last one, and this is the wild card. These aren't twin movies, but they're twin characters, sort of.
Okay.
Ethan Hunt or James Bond, and the context is you need one to save your life from the other.
God, that's good. I'm gonna go James Bond. Though, yeah, man, is Rebecca Ferguson around and this at all? Is it just
No,
okay? That's fair.
it is just yeah.
That's fair. That's a fair parameter. Yeah, I'm going Bond. Because I'm thinking of my guy Daniel Craig's Bond. That's my favorite Bond. But I'll say this, and I'll allow you to see what you think here. Bond, especially Daniel Craig's Bond, is very successful, but often, not unlike say an Indiana Jones, fails before he succeeds. And there's a raw brutality to him that sometimes makes him make the wrong decision. Where Ethan Hunt might be a little bit more smooth, and he's going to get on the side of a plane for you. But I think in the end, I'm going to go Bond.
I think Daniel Craig is both the luckiest and the unluckiest Bond. He got himself in some pickles and still managed to find interesting ways. Anyway,
I like that nice, polite way of saying pickle. It's a pickle. Pickle. James Bond got himself in a pickle.
Ken, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Always fun.
Love the calls, man. Seriously, good producing, Steve. Good producing, good segments. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, Steve calling in as he does every week. He's a channel member. That's how you get to call into the show. Become a channel member right here on YouTube. If you do that, you can also watch live my 20 Minutes of Coffee show that we do weekly here as well. And you can also become a Patreon member, patron at patreon.com/KenNapstalk. All right, before we get to the next call, I promised everyone we'd dive into this here. I was going to try to look up the article here. Let me try to Yahoo Gen Z socks. Let's see if the article, there it is. Okay, the article's up here. Okay, the article's up. I'm going to share this tab instead. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this, and we're going back to the screen here. Oops, sorry, everybody. I'm doing this live on air. There we go. Okay. Gen Z has officially canceled ankle socks. They're for old people. This is a BuzzFeed article on Yahoo Life. Gen Z is at it again. All right. See, I will say I don't agree with that take. You're setting Gen Z up for a war that maybe they didn't even ask for here. Every generation has the right to be in control of their own destiny, I think, and that includes fashion choices. But I understand. First, they came for skinny jeans. I wear slim cut jeans. I don't wear skinny jeans. I didn't like skinny jeans for a long time. I didn't like slim cut for a while. Then one day I saw a photo of myself in normal jeans and I was like, I look like a tent that got blown over in a tornado. I need to get some tighter fitting jeans. You're not going to take those off me. But then they came for side parts. I got no opinion on the side parts. I got no hair. Now it's about the socks. A TikTok that says, of course it's TikTok. Maybe we should ban TikTok. Generally speaking, I'm against the TikTok ban. I understand there's some concerns that are legitimate. As my friend once put on Threads, you wouldn't want, Russia running some things right now. Maybe it's okay to question what governments are behind some of it, but that's been part of the investigation, and you guys have been following that, I'm sure. But in general, I don't think we need to ban TikTok. A TikTok that says you can tell someone from Gen Z apart from millennial based on the socks they're wearing at the gym, and it's going viral. Gen Z wears crew socks, and millennials / everyone else wears ankle socks. So crew socks. Okay. Wait a minute. What side am I on? What side am I on? Okay. I'm watching this TikTok here. Retiring the ankle socks. Yeah, I hate ankle socks. Did I read this wrong? Am I on Gen Z's side? I think I read this wrong. The biggest problem with Gen Z is they made ankle socks unacceptable. Okay. I like crew socks. Okay. You've live on air. I'm switching teams. I came here to yell at Gen Z. I'm on Gen Z's side. if this is what's going on. Chat, help me out here. I absolutely hate ankle socks. 8984M says, lol. I absolutely despise these socks. I'm looking on my. If you're on the podcast side, these are what they call ankle socks. I read the article. I read the article as socks too high on your ankle. Gen Z is saying no. God bless Gen Z if this is the case. God bless Gen Z. They're leading us in the right direction. Barefoot socks are really comfortable. Get out of here, Ranger Donald. Steve says the kids love big socks. Wife is a teacher. Yeah. I guess crew socks. See, I just go the ankle high. I got socks up to my goddamn knees. All right. I don't wear shorts, so it doesn't look like I look like a grandpa in Boca Raton. I cannot stand if the socks fall too far down past like my calf. The front of my shin bone drives me insane. Drives me absolutely insane. These socks, the ones on my screen right now, should go to hell. Unless you need to wear them, you know. But this is why I don't play tennis anymore. Also because I'm not rich. Because if you go out there on a tennis court, it's kind of hot and you're wearing shorts or something. And I don't want to look like a grandpa from Boca Raton, but I want to feel like a grandpa from Boca Raton. Okay, get rid of the ankle socks. Side parts, I don't care about that. See, okay. I got one crew sock on, says Nick Andrade, and one ankle sock on. I'm cool on one side and Melinda's on the other. You got to go crew, baby. You got to go crew. Okay. You know what? This is what I always say here. Context. Don't fall for the headline. And I fell for the headline because I read it wrong. Because I'm an idiot. I read it wrong. Man, I'm glad we went on this journey together. 8984M says Ken took his talents to Gen Z Beach. And then Ranger Donald says, I thought there were no shoes. I think you mean. Trey T says, I need sock garters. No. Ranger Donald, yeah, this barefoot, they're just sticky pads you stick in the bottom of your foot. No, I don't want that. I want armor on my ankles. I don't want them too thick. I don't want to sweat through everything, but yeah. Laserbolt says, I only wear shorts with sandals, and people wear socks with sandals. Is this psycho? Yeah, I don't, apologies to anyone who has to wear the socks with sandals. Now, Lauren Roma says, I love ankle socks. Oh, Venture says, no, he's right. No show socks. They don't show. Why are we naming socks and confusing the matter? Yeah, that's true. Brian Tiller's here. He says ankle socks. Team ankle socks. No, Jeb Miro's here. Jeb Miro says, yeah, F those socks. I own them and use them when I have to, but they're like the one rogue hair across your face you can't find or remove. The ankle socks. Yeah. I can't. I'm constantly like yanking them up. Romo also loves Detroit pizza. That's true. We shouldn't trust her. Yeah. All right. I'm glad we went down. I want to apologize. Okay. See. Jeff May says team ankle socks here, the ones that go above your ankle bones. But those are the tiny ones. But I can't trust Jeff May if he's against me on this. I like crew, tube socks. Sounds like a scientific experiment. I want them to go. If I could put on knee highs, thigh highs, I would. You know what? Maybe I will, because I bet we're gonna find some photos of Harrison Butker and thigh highs, anyways. So I'll join that side. But I can't trust Jeff May. He's a former boxer. Do you know how many times he's been punched in the head? You know how many times he's been punched in the head? Plus, he's from Boston, so he's probably been in more bar fights than any of us. He's a Boston-based boxer. If he likes the socks that are the tiny ones, I can't trust his opinion on that. I can't trust. Jeff May says the sports ones get sucked into your shoe. You like shorter. Okay. This is a big debate here. I don't know. All right, I'm going to bring in this next caller. Actually, no. I'm going to apologize. I want to apologize to Gen Z. Normally I'm not a generational warfare guy. I used to be because it's cool, right? You think when millennial Gen X was the thing, because I was there when like the young millennials got to the workforce, the ones that are closer to Gen Z, and it's like it's a like I had some issues at the time when I was a supervisor and then a director of public safety. That I didn't sync up with their ways of the workforce, and I struggled through it. But you got to look to the next generation. You got to, whether you want to or not, you got to see where they want to go. It's theirs. I sometimes tell when the younger kids, I'm talking in their 20s, when they're like, "Hey, suddenly we're wearing granny glasses or something." I'm like, you don't do that. But you're only gonna learn. I wish someone had pulled me aside in 1988 and said, "You're not gonna want to wear a mullet. Just cut the back. Just even it up. There's no party in the front, and there's no business in the back. There's business in the front, party in the back. There's none of that going on." But no one did. They let me decide. Ranger Donald says, "I'm also as barefoot as much as possible." So I'm not true to this topic. Yeah, Dylan Barry says, "Your beanie takes on a whole new meaning on Team Z, Team Gen Z." That's right. And here I am. I'm an old guy in a beanie anyways. There's one trend we're not talking about here, which is the barefooters. The barefooters. There's an ad that pops up on YouTube. It's like two Australian gym rats or something, and they're like, "Hey, don't wear shoes on your feet there. Oh, it'll make your feet stronger then." And they go, and they're from Manchester too. And there's these like shoes that are like, and they explain, there's 168 muscles in your feet, and if you wear arch support, you're destroying them. If I don't wear my hard-boiled leather arch supports, I'm flat on the ground with a back injury. And if you're telling me that if I take those out and over time I'll strengthen my body, maybe. But ain't nobody got time for that. And I hate that feeling of walking barefoot. And sometimes you walk barefoot and you're like, I don't know, like your tendon pops out the bottom of your foot. You ever done that where you step wrong and suddenly you're like, that feels like it's shooting, not even pain, just like every tendon in your foot just ripped apart. Like the space-time continuum, like the quantum realm just destroyed you. I hate that feeling, and that's why I'll wear boots inside if I could get away with it. All my slippers, hard bottom slippers. Do not like to feel the ground. Kingsport Cal says people in Tennessee ride bicycles with no shoes on. I don't know. Ken says, Troy says, "Ken, I think you're not on their side. I feel like they'd say you should be wearing ankle socks." I don't even understand the article. I don't understand it. All I know is I need sock garters like definitely not Troy says. All right. Venture says, "Barefoot in the house list is winter, but I hate wearing shoes without socks. Won't do it." Yeah. Oh yeah. No, can't do that. Gotta have socks on. I got some sandals, no socks. Slippers, no socks in the slippers. But I'm always in slippers. I go through slippers about every 6 weeks, get a new pair of slippers. It's a little pet peeve of mine. And the ones I have right now, I could drive them. I accidentally almost wore them to the vet the other day to take Franny to the vet. Franny's healing up quite well from her torn ACL, by the way. Now, if I could put little sneakers on my Chihuahua, she might not have torn her ACL. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever those shoes are. What are those shoes? Soulless shoes. I'm gonna find those things. No, that's a band. You all know what I'm talking about. All right. I've been putting off this call. Jeff May yells at me every 6 weeks. Yeah. I'll tell you why. You want to get real, Blathering? You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. The reason I switch my slippers out about every 6 weeks, if I can, and if I can afford it, if I'm living a life of luxury, slippers turn. All right? They got your smelly feet in them. I'll bring them outside. I'll run errands, take the trash out, take the dogs out to the backyard. I'm in them all the time. Slippers turn. The meat has turned, right? And some you're going to start saying in chat, Lysol spray like I'm a bowling alley. You could wash them, put them in the washing machine. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Once your slippers lose their integrity, they're done. Accept it. Move on. Head back to the store and get yourself another $15 pair of slippers. I don't go for no fancy slippers. I don't go for no cashmere slippers, no goose down slippers. I go for whatever Target puts in my face or what I can get at Walmart or a gas station. I don't care. And if there was a mom and pop slipper store around here, I'd go there too. Slippers and pops and slippers. I'd go there. Ranger Donald says $15 where the problem lies. All right. Tell you what, someone wants to super chat me enough money to buy an $85 pair of slippers, go for it. But then you lose the bet because once the slippers go, 6 to 8 weeks, you ain't getting them back. And it's a particular kind of locker room shoe store smell. And don't you for 1 second accuse my feet of being the problem. I got normal feet. I got good normal feet. All right? Ain't nothing stinky going on about them. It's just the natural human way. And as much as I'm in slippers, because if I'm home, I went to lunch today before the show. All right? Mark Ellis begged me to go to lunch. He was so lonely and he wanted company and he begged Mark Ellis. You could tell him I said, Mark Ellis begged me to go to lunch today. So I put on some shoes and I went to lunch. Jeff May says, bro, how rotten your feet? It ain't my feet. It ain't my feet. I'm telling you, it ain't my feet. I shower sometimes twice a day. Now, Laserbolt's coming in here going, no, we don't do Crocs. We as a society have got to come together and stop the acceptance of Crocs. We got rid of them. When they showed up in the mid-2000s, about 2000, I was working at the Grove. I was the security director over the Farmers Market, 3rd and Fairfax. First time I saw Crocs at like a cart at the Grove. We took a stand against them as a society, and now I blame the UK. A lot of people, a lot of influencers in the UK wearing Crocs. We got to fight back against the Crocs. We got to fight back against the Crocs, though. 8984 says Crocs are cool. They're not cool. All right? We've got it. Now back to the slippers. And Trey T says, I've been here for years and years, and this is the first time I've heard the slipper story. Which, by the way, Trey T, that's a backhanded compliment because what you're calling me is the drunk uncle at a party who tells the same stories over and over again, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong. See, a pair of house Crocs. Crocs, gosh, look at these Crocs fans coming out. Crocs are good for around the house or at the beach or pool. I don't go to the beach or pool. I live in LA. You got to be ready for an earthquake. And my hard-soled slippers are going to get me through an earthquake. I don't trust the Crocs to get me through an earthquake. Every day we live with the fear of a 7-point tour ripping through here where you're out on the street with what you got. And I'd rather have hard-soled slippers than, Crocs with baby Grogu's face on them or something, or like rose petals. Stardew says Crocs can't breathe and they stick up on your toes. That's it, you croc people. This is a Croc. I've seen them, and I see on Instagram. What's your name? What's that dancer? There's that a couple of those dancers on TikTok, and I don't follow them, and I don't have anything against them. But at one point they popped up in my algorithm, and I watched one of the videos, and now I see them every goddamn day. I think her name's like Kelly Dactyl, and she dances, and she's fun. She just had a kid, and she's a happy, joyful person. I got nothing against the joy she puts out in the world, but she's always in Crocs, and they're always in primary colors, and we got to stop the Crocs. Jeff May says, I'm getting really defensive about haunted feet. Look, man. Look, man. And now Muro's in on it, too. My pal Muro's too, Muro. I know exactly what it is. You buy inexpensive foam slippers that degrade quickly. If you buy strong, expensive, washable ones, you could probably use them for a few months. Nothing wrong with disposable. All right, she's kind of on my side there. But so last month, I tried washing my slippers, and it baked in not only the smell, it baked in the wet. I had soggy, wet, I'll say it, moist slippers. I had to toss those suckers. And Target's been unreliable with slipper choices. I'm gonna have to go to that gas station. Miro says, read the whole damn thing before you decide if I'm on your side or not. Yeah, I should have learned that tonight. I was ready to yell at Gen Z, and now I'm not here yell at Gen Z, and I'm still not sure what sex they like. All right. Yeah, her name's, what's the name? Kelly Dactyl. And what's the other? There's Dasha, Kasha, I don't know. They popped up in my feed, and now they won't go away. And that's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying I just can't escape them. And then Jeff May there is just he's attacking my feet. I feel personally attacked here. Old man yells at socks. All right. All right. I'm gonna bring this call in. I've been putting this call off. He's gonna come on now, and he's gonna ask me one question. Dylan Barry says, "Kasha, my good friend, is she your good friend? They're in it. I want people. I'm not saying any of these people are bad or wrong or shouldn't be doing what they're doing. I don't follow them, and it's like all I see on Instagram is, and they're professional dancers. There's a lot of like TikTok and Reels, Instagram Reels dancers. I wouldn't call professional dancers that are getting 100,000 views doing like this over and over in Times Square. Kasha, Kelly Dactyl, they're dancers. They're doing their thing. They got skills. They've been doing their whole life. All right. I'm going to get this guy he's got one question. Kingsport Cal, God damn it, listen to me. You've got one question. One question, Cal. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Kind of. You got a bad connection tonight. Thank God.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, you're sounding
How
robotic.
bad is it?
Oh, it's really bad. I can't understand you.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
All right.
shit.
Call back. Put it off. All right. Yes, Dylan Barry knows exactly what I'm talking about. Kelly and Kasha, yeah, they moved to LA to be dancers, and they blew up on socials during the pandemic, which is none of that's bad. But Kelly is always in Crocs, and I blame her for the Croc problem in our society. All right. Kyle already melted the mic. All right, I'm going to bring in a next call here. She is on my side, I think, when it comes to socks. But I don't know if she's on my side when it comes to tequila-based Mai Tai drinks. Jen Muro's on the line. How you doing, Jen?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Oh, you're coming in loud and clear, unlike Cal's call, which sounded like he was broadcasting from another dimension.
It was Damien. Yes, I was getting a little concerned there. Yes.
Yeah. All right, so hit me with the slippers.
There's nothing wrong with disposable slippers. It's fine. It's fine. Don't get Crocs. I'm not a Croc fan. Marie Giacchino wears them, and I love her so much, but I'm not a fan of them. Although she pulls it off. They're adorable on her for some reason. But other than her, no one else should be wearing freaking Crocs.
Okay.
But I actually, most of my sneakers and stuff for walking, BZs, they're all washable. So like even when I walk the dogs, I throw them in. But they're more of an investment, and it's a whole different thing. You can totally buy the disposable ones, and then just don't spend more than 15.
Look, and Trey T says Jen's accent shifting is amazing. Yeah, you were you're touching. Look, I do this with sunglasses. I buy $10 sunglasses because when I used to work in public safety, I'd break them about every 3 weeks in some kind of
Yeah.
fight or foot pursuit. So why am I going to invest in $100 glasses, $10? But I'm open to the idea of expensive slippers. You're just going to have to point me in the right direction.
Yeah, I have plenty of brands, but it's not necessary. I mean, for $15, you spend that on other silly things. You might as well just get new slippers for God's sake.
Look? What silly things do you see in my life that I'm buying? And don't say Funko Pops. I'm trying to sell them.
Oh no, I meant the royal you, not you, Ken Knapsack
Okay.
personally.
Okay. By the way, you could all go to my shop at kennapsack.com. Get that CM Punk rare Funko Pop that I've got for sale. Okay. That's good.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And by the way, a little dream foam, terry cloth slippers from Home Goods or TJ Maxx, the little Marshalls. See,
Oh,
when I
yeah.
shop, I turn into a Long Islander.
It shows. You pick
That's
yourself
it.
up in
And
an
you
all
get a little
American.
discount,
Yeah.
but terry cloth is very, very washable. But you know what? Nothing wrong with 6 weeks.
Nothing. Yeah. Well, it's a thing. Let me ask you this question though. You slipped it in there, pun intended, on the slipper conversation. You do go outside past your front gate with your dogs and your slippers.
I try to keep that separate. What I'm saying is all my dog walking shoes are washable because they're a certain brand. They're called Beezy's
Okay.
in there. It's
Okay.
almost like my handbag is washable. I got this all
Okay.
during the pandemic. So it's called Bagalini and they're washable. They have freaking like luggage that's washable. So anyway,
mean,
you're talking to the washing queen when
I'm-
it comes
I'm-
to like shoes and handbags.
This is great. Washing Queen. That's
Yep.
good. All right.
But
all
you know
right.
what? I appreciate one last thing because then
Well, no, well, I'm not-
I got groceries coming, so I got to go get those in a second. But
Okay. Oh, the groceries are there.
those
All right.
are groceries.
Okay, get your groceries.
Could
I'm
you
going to
tell
bring
those
Jeff.
are groceries?
I can hear your
Okay.
dogs.
Okay,
Buddy
one,
and
one
Penny.
last
One last thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Nice new
Oh.
fresh slippers. I think that's wonderful.
Okay.
Why would you want to wear old ones? So that's fantastic.
Okay,
So good
that's
for you, and thank God for Grace. I'm sure she appreciates it.
She judges me, but it's all right. All right, get your food. Appreciate what you do, Mira.
You got it,
now
babe.
on the phone. Now on the phone is we're hopping tonight. The phone lines are hopping tonight. Now is the host of I Must Break You on his own YouTube channel, who thinks I have disgusting hobbit feet. It's Jeff May.
It seems like you might have disgusting feet. Like it seems like all the things you're saying.
Show your work.
Okay, so my work is that you are going through roughly one pair of annual slippers every 6 weeks. And I know that I think you're like, well, I shower 2 times a day. Are you wearing them in the shower? Is that what's happening?
No.
Growing mushrooms in there, bud?
No. I once I hit about 5 o'clock, the slippers are on. From then until bedtime, until Betty by time.
Oh, like a grandpa.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. No, I like that. I'm concerned for you about that. I'm a little nervous. I feel like you're going to lose some toes. I care about you too much for you to die this way. Ken, I have gotten so much of you in the past, really like week and a half.
A ton of
so much, and the people seem to really like that chemistry. Our episode of I Must Break You got rave reviews.
Love this.
Of people saying that they loved you and me opening cards, and you walked out of there with an autograph.
I did. Oh my God, I did. Where did I put that? Oh, here it is. I got a Indira Varma Taladirth autograph card from Jeff's show, and it was this was rare. Like this was a big pull, right, for that box.
That was the box hit. Yeah, you got it. You walked away with it.
Love it. Yeah, so check that out. Check that out on Jeff. You should all be subscribed to Jeff's channel. I I dropped a link to your channel in one of my upcoming ASMR videos too, Jeffrey. So
I just watched your Beckett. You're looking up of the one where you profited because of Steve Avery.
Steve Avery, 91 Fleer Ultra. Let me
As soon as you pulled that and you were using 92, I was like, that Steve Avery is going to be worth some money because he was the guy at the time.
Look, absolutely. Maddox and Glavin and Smoltz, of course, got all the headlines, but Avery was the future there. Jeffrey, have you seen? I'm going to hold this card up to the camera. Have you ever seen this 85 tops? I bring it up in my ASMR video a lot, but it's Paul Orndorff doing a pile driver. That's the most disturbing photo I've ever seen, and it's haunted me my entire life. Do you collect these WWE cards from the back in the day?
I don't necessarily collect the WWE cards from that era, mainly because I fail as I may with collecting, especially because of how I do the breaks and everything like that. And I'm like, look, there's already too many cards. I got to get rid of these. So I have a small collection, and wrestling cards that I collect. The main one I have is a Rhea Ripley relic, because obviously we know that answer.
Yep.
I collect Fiona Shaw as Marva Andor autographs.
That's the best thing.
And I collect Jose Canseco.
Yeah.
Preferably Red Sox Canseco.
Oh, that's a great era of Canseco. Second only to his Texas Rangers head hit home run. The
dome run, yeah.
The dome run. Did you, correct me if I'm wrong, did you try to pay Jose Canseco a cameo to go hunt Bigfoot or be on a podcast with you?
So the podcast I did with Adam Todd Brown, formerly of Correct, called You Don't Even Like Sports, started out because we did a miniseries called Jose Cansecast, and it ended up being incredibly popular. It was this really great underground hit, and so when we requested a cameo of him saying, "Hi, this is Jose Canseco, and you don't even like sports," or "Welcome to You Don't Even Like Sports," and he was like, "No, that's not worth $150 for me." But then somebody else was smart enough to order one where he told somebody that you don't even like sports, and then we clipped it, but we don't have the official. We don't say anywhere that Jose Canseco. He doesn't say his name, but I believe the start of every episode is him just going, "You don't even like sports."
That's great. It's amazing. He's a fascinating character.
He did the right thing for the wrong reasons. He's an unreliable narrator. He lies while he's telling the truth. He's a fascinating person. Legitimately to be one of the most fascinating people in the history of baseball. A man that changed the game of baseball, and that's a very rare thing to happen. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, good or bad, he did. I love that. I pulled this card. Preview for anyone who's going to watch my Sports Card ASMR channel. This pack of cards.
Oh, I love that run. That's the one with Reggie Jackson and Nolan Ryan are also in that one.
I think so. It's a weird run, and we open that pack this coming Sunday.
I love to hear that. I love your Sports Card ASMR.
Thank you, my friend. 8984M, who is, I believe, 25 or under, says, I got to look up this Jose Canseco guy. How do you feel, Jeff, about maybe just introducing a new generation to Jose Canseco?
So, I love doing that. He's a fascinating person. He's a great Twitter follow. We chose him because of how fascinating he is. We have a lot of Gen Z listeners because a lot of them came up through Cracked. And also, we decided to make a sports podcast for people that hate sports, which is hence the title. So we have a lot of people have contacted us and have been like, man, I never wanted to listen to a sports podcast, and this is my favorite. Our Tony Stewart season is just so much fun.
The killer racer.
He killed the guy. Yeah, he killed the guy.
Tony Stewart.
That's literally we keep saying that throughout the entire, I think we did 8 episodes. We're just like, and also he killed a guy.
So,
Um,
folks, look it up. Tony Stewart legitimately ran over and killed a man. I'm laughing.
Tony
It's
Stewart
crazy.
killed a guy. No,
Great kill.
but back to your thing,
Okay,
that
back to my
wrestling
fate.
card, I do not,
Okay.
I don't, but I'm obsessed with the perceived masculinity combined with the homoeroticism
Of wrestling.
of wrestling is one of my favorite. It's like one of my favorite things. It's such a beautiful dichotomy.
Yep. Yep.
And I genuinely prize that. Like, you know me, you know who I am, you know what I look like, and you know what I do for fun.
Yeah.
But I also very much love sort of like all the stuff that a lot of people that are boxers from Massachusetts do not.
I love that.
Which is very fun. Yeah.
I love that. Jeff, thanks for calling in and yelling at my feet.
Always a pleasure. I really think we need to do something about that. We should save your feet. We got to protect. Yeah, we could do that too. We should probably do that. We should probably.
Look. I'm gonna get a good pair of slippers. I'm gonna get an expensive brand of these easy slippers that Miro's talking about, and then I'll wash them, and then we'll see if it's the feet or the slippers.
Yeah. Now, I'm about to leave. I'm going to take off. This is my moment to say, hey, each and every one of you, if you are watching, I really appreciate that. And I hope you liked and subscribe and hit the notifications bell on here. And if you can, if you're in a position to help support Ken on Patreon, please do. The shows that Ken has been on with me are all available for free, including free on my Patreon, which is patreon.com/JeffMay. If you want to hear Nerd, we spend 2 hours talking about Power of the Force 2 with Dre Alvarez. It is a delight. It's so much fun. I Must Break You is on my YouTube as well. All of it available for free. We don't openly straight up ask you guys for money. We don't. If you're in a position to help us, we appreciate it. But for now, just watch our stuff. Especially Ken. Just watch the stuff. Even if you're not watching the stuff, just put the stuff on.
Just watch this stuff.
It helps. It helps. And honestly, like Ken, you are such a great creator. You really know how to work well with the people within your wheelhouse. I really appreciate it. I really respect it. And I hope that the people that are sticking around here do as well, because you really are.
I appreciate that. And I love my regulars, my names, and I definitely want more names and definitely want more regulars. But we have such a wonderful community here. And I feel you, and you do the same with yours, Jeff. It was a lot of fun being in number one, sitting on your lap.
I sure do.
Yeah, it was number one.
It was so much fun.
And two, doing that. All right, Jeff May, everybody. Check out Jeff May. Yep.
And you're a great friend. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Jeff May there. Bugs flying in front of my camera there. There you go. All right, we're rolling through. We got some calls coming. I want to get to Ventress calling in here right now. I got 8984M lined up, and we're going to give Kingsport Cal another shot before we get out of here tonight. Ventress, Rachel, how you doing? How high do your socks go?
I mean, it depends on the day, Ken. How you doing?
I'm good. Good day. This is a great time.
I mean, I'm inside, so I'm barefoot right now. It's nice and warm.
Fair. I think that's fine. I think that's a good thing.
I mean, I don't appreciate Jeff coming for the Hobbit feet. It's not okay.
You know, he's at least he couches it in some concern.
He cares. He cares.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hobbit feet can't be the only thing on your mind tonight, Ventress. What do you got going on? What's on your mind?
I mean, geez, this show has just covered everything tonight.
We've run the gamut.
Oh my goodness, it's been impressive. It really has been. But I mean, my question was touched on a little bit on Jeff's call with just going through the different, cards and memorabilia. But the original version of the question was specifically around Star Wars memorabilia. And what is your most prized possession in your Star Wars collection? But I'll open it up to sports memorabilia.
I don't have a ton of sports stuff anymore. I have some old posters and stuff that I used to have up on the wall as a kid. But I as much as I love sports, I didn't follow it as closely the last 5-6 years, and I definitely didn't collect as much. I had the cards and everything, but I wasn't like an autograph hound. I wasn't like I got a jersey from so and so. So I actually don't have a ton. The Star Wars stuff I do, obviously, and I'm trying to move on some of the items to other folks again on my shop, but it's the personal ones. So like I do have like my life size Wicket Ewok from Tree of Moon, Tree on Endor, Emerald Moon, great independent artists who make these life size Ewoks. They gifted me one a few years ago on Jedi Council, and I loved it. But it's like that. But it's like my ticket to the Phantom Menace that I have, that I was in the novelization of the Phantom Menace, and I thought I lost it, and then I pulled out the novelization about 2-3 years ago, and the ticket fell out. 10 a.m. showing on May 19th in Winnetka, California. Like that means a lot to me. The book I have, that's the Return of the Jedi kind of making of magazine that I have from 1983, and it's feathered and it's ripped, but on the inside is my big 7-year-old handwriting Kenny Knapsacks book. Like, that showing that the love has been long in my heart. Those are the items I love the most.
I love it. Yeah, I have 2 Star Wars stories real quick to share with you around cons. So I didn't get to meet him, but Hayden Christensen was at Awesome Con this past year.
Awesome.
And as someone who has been a huge fan of his line to meet him and take photos was easily twice as long as every other celebrity there.
It's
and
crazy.
Oh my God, it made me so happy to see him have that much love from the community after everything that he put up with. And
yeah. It's crazy, and I'm glad Ahmed got the 2019 reception and is loved by the community. I've talked often, if Jake Lloyd is ever in a position of mental health where he's ready to come back and get some of that love, I'd love to see that, but I don't know if he needs it and wants it, and that's another conversation. But Hayden in 2017 showed up at Star Wars Celebration Orlando, and that felt like something. It felt like a tide was turning in a lot of ways, not just for him, but maybe the prequels overall. And you felt it. And then we ran into him. I didn't speak to him or anything, but we ran into him on a ride at the Hollywood Studios Disney World. And, he's just a dude who's going for a little ride at a theme park, and everyone was freaking out. So I love seeing it from that to where we are now, where he's back in Star Wars. He's on screen. I think gave some of his best performances as Hayden these last couple of years. As Anakin, I should say, as Hayden. Like you said, he's a rock star.
Agreed. And then the only cast member that I've been able to meet so far was at a very, very teeny convention in one of its first years. I'm gonna say her name wrong, and I'm gonna apologize preemptively. Sure. It is the live action actress as Barriss Offee, Nalini Krishnan, and I have her signature on an action figure, and it is the most unique thing in my collection.
Well, look, that's even more valuable now as Barriss' story comes back into light. That's
Indeed.
great.
Well, thanks for taking my call as always, Ken.
Thank you, Ventress. Thank you. Please continue to call in. We're happy to have you here. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, we're racing towards the end of the show, but we're not done yet. Oh, no. And by the way, an update for those watching along or listening along. Kingsport Cal has had to give up his quest to call into the show. He says his phone plus internet doesn't want to cooperate. And a great cry went out in the nation, and we'll look for Cal's call next week. I was looking forward to it, as I always am. Next up, calling in here is someone who we love having around here, regular as well, who might have opinions on socks, Crocs, and now maybe Jose Canseco. Brady, 8984M, you're on the show. How are you?
Hello, good. How are you?
I am good. How are you doing? What's on your mind? How many Crocs do you own?
Well, first I want to say welcome to the team, Gen Z. I have no idea. I still don't know what an ankle sock is.
It's still a confusing article because crew sock, tube sock, those are the things that go high. And those are the things I like. Ankle socks, too low. But to me, a sock that goes up past your ankle and your shin bone is what I'd call an ankle sock. But I clearly was wrong, and I apologize to Gen Z.
Yeah, you know, I can't speak for all Gen Z. I'm just one person,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
when the sock goes too low, it rolls into your foot, and then it comes off in your shoe, but you don't want to take off your shoe because you're in public.
Yeah, and you're feeling it. See, I
Yeah,
appreciate
and you're just walking on it. Ew, no.
This is a reach across the aisle moment where a Gen Xer like me and a Gen Zer like you are shaking hands and finding common ground as we move forward to take on the real enemy, millennials.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I notice this a lot. I don't usually go on TikTok, but I notice a lot of content there is millennials versus Gen Z. It's just people arguing.
It seems big now. Yeah, I don't. And the generation, I get the generational wars. I do a bit about this in my stand-up. Like every generation thinks they're the coolest ones. Every generation that comes up and is the youngest of the generations in the driver's seat. Because I know there's Gen Alpha that'll be up behind Gen Z, but Gen Z is the driver's seat right now. The younger demographic, what advertisers want, all that kind of stuff. So I get it. You're in the driver's seat, and that brings with it some hubris and maybe even a little bit of arrogance. That's how it's supposed to work. But I just love that the previous generation, the millennials, were they were uppity. The young millennials, because older millennials forget that they're millennials. I got some friends. I'll just call it Josh McCouga. We always would have to point out to Josh McCouga that he's a millennial, because back in the day at Collider and afternoons, he'd like make fun of the millennials and be like, buddy, you're a millennial because you were born after like 1980, 1981. So the young millennials, I was there in those generational wars, but they're fun. They're pointless. I don't take them too seriously. But I think nowadays, maybe because of TikTok and social media, they seem more serious.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like generation wars. It's like just be yourself. I mean, generations are they really like? Are they really that big? Or is there just a lot of commonalities between it? Because
there's way more commonalities, I think. There's obviously new things, but I think even the commonalities are the new things, that each generation has something new. At one point, a young generation was like, we've got sliced bread. Look at us. We're better than you cutting your own bread. Like that's always been the case. And I think I like generational exchange. I like learning from generations. I do think the younger generations, I'm not just saying Gen Z, but any younger generation, has a tendency to discount the experiences of older generations, maybe particularly generation that's too ahead of you, which I think is done at your own peril. I also think time repeats itself, and unfortunately sometimes in bad ways. Look at stuff that's going on right now with some of the college campus protests with the government, United States government's funding and involvement in what's going on with Israel and Gaza and the Palestinians. And people are going, it's Kent State all over again. But I think that cycle is just going to constantly repeat. And I got sad and bad news. A lot of the folks protesting during the Kent State days became the boomers who were rich and content and against you now. It's just unfortunate, but sometimes it's the generational cycles. But I agree with you. There's commonalities. We were all young and hopeful at one point.
So you're saying that it's inevitable that we will become our parents?
It is.
Oh, no.
It is, but you can choose to be different, and I think if they're doing it right, will hope you're different. But here's it doesn't become. You're about 25, 8984M, about 25, Kyrie.
Yeah, I don't want to think about it, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, quarter life crisis. I get it. But like as you get into your 30s. You'll look in the mirror and you'll see your pops, right? Or you see your mom, and there's times where I almost have an out of body experience where I'm like, oh, I answered that question like my dad, not in what my dad thinks. He doesn't think a ton of bad things, but we disagree on some things. But in like how he acts, like physically, I answer like in my head I'll be like, oh my God, I answered that like my dad does, physically, and watching my grandfather before he passed. Watching him shuffle around and then watching my dad start to shuffle around like him. And I was in the backyard when my back was hurt and I was taking the dogs out potty and I was like shuffling around and I caught a glimpse of myself like in a shadow or something. I was like, I'm walking like grandpa. I'm walking like grandpa, and I'm walking like dad. It's just in the hardwiring. Get ready for it.
Oh dear. Okay. I already know that I'm gonna lose all my hair because my grandfather lost his hair. Okay. My grandfather on my dad's side, on my mom's side, my dad lost his hair. So I know, like, oh, I gotta have fun with my hair right now because that is gonna be gone.
One of the worst mistakes of my life was getting in a career path where I was encouraged to buzz my hair down. I spent most of my 20s when I had my hair with a buzz, like a number 1 or number 2 buzz cut. And then when I wasn't until 38. That's why I grew the ponytail when I went to Screen Junkies. If people remember that, because I was like, I could finally do something different with my hair. But by then I was losing it all. So there you go. Jeff May wants me to get on the Finasteride right now. That sounds, we talked about it off air, but I'll look into it. But it might be a lost cause for me. I might be on a hair system. That's the only way I could say.
What's a Finasteride?
It is some sort of it's a drug essentially to help restore your hair. I'm explaining it in a dumb way, but it's like
wait, that exists. You can
look with technology these days. I think you can. Yeah, I think you could fix it. But I think most of it. I was talking to the Gen Z kid. All right. Jeff May is telling you to get on it. You're not telling me. I am a lost cause. My hair is gone. Jeff is telling you to get on it.
I heard that. Yeah. You have to get on it before you start losing.
Yep. And I'll tell you what. I had a friend when I was at like 29 range, going into 30s. And no, take it back. I was even younger. God, it was 2001 or 2002, and I was starting to thin a little bit. And she said the exact thing. She said, "You got to trust me. You got to do it now." And I was like, "Nah, I'll be okay." Worst mistake of my life, because I'm very self-conscious about my head. So 898-4M, you got to get on it now, or just embrace it. Be better than me. Be better than me.
I'll become a hat person.
Become a beanie guy.
When you get older, you get access to like all these cool hats. Like, I don't know.
Yes. When you get older, suddenly a hat salesman, a haberdasher, shows up to your house and says, "Would you like any one of these old man hats? I have a ton to choose from. Please choose a hat of your liking." I think you're right about that. King's Workhouse is just shave your head. I'm not there yet. I can't do it.
And my dad's shaved his head.
I'm sure it looks sexy. I can't. I will look like an egg that fell out of the package. Love it. Now we got definitions of finasteride. It's a urinary retention medication. It can treat enlarged prostate. Oh yeah, that's the thing too. My grandfather started getting his hair growing back in like the late 80s. In his late 80s, and not the decade of the 80s. And it was because he was on some prostate medication, but he thought it was because he was putting olive oil in his hair. True story. He would put olive oil in his hair at night, and at one point actually got attacked by ants, woke up with a head full of ants. This is a true family story. But he,
oh my God,
he was a little old school, and he never could connect that it was his prostate medicine for his he had prostate cancer, which was not what killed him. The doctor was like, "You're probably going to go before the prostate cancer even affects you," which ended up being true. But and he started growing his hair back, and he was like, he gave me a bottle of olive oil and said, "Caddy, put olive oil on head, rub in at night before go bed, hair come back." And we couldn't explain, Grandpa, it's your prostate.
Yeah,
there you go.
This is, I think. It's not just with the older generation. It's also, I think, in Gen Z, there's this rumor that like rosemary oil will grow your hair back. But I think recently people were saying like, that's not really a thing. That's just like,
yeah.
So,
see, a commonality. Yeah. Every generation thinks they can put some kind of oil on their head and grow their hair back.
Yeah.
898 thank you for the call. I appreciate you. Any final thoughts before I let you go?
You get some good slippers, I got some slippers from the 2020 and they're still going strong.
You have 5-year-old slippers. God bless you. Maybe it's my feet. Maybe it's my goddamn feet. All right, maybe Jeff May is right. It'd be one rare time that Jeff May is right, but all right. For you, I'm going to do that, Kyrie. I appreciate it. Thank you very much
Bye.
for calling in. All right. Final call of the night is coming in here soon, and then I'll probably see this guy shortly on Fortnite. But we're gonna have some stuff. Venture says, "What birthday should expect my bowler hat on?" That's a great question. You know, Brian Tiller's here says he just pegged my look. I'm old. That's funny. Yeah, Brian's got some great. Brian is crossed the line there, and he's got some great hats, and he looks good in them, by the way. But I think at some point he turned a certain age. Hat guy showed up at his house. I think that's how it works. Yeah, even 8984M says Brian Tiller has a cool hat in the profile picture. Yeah, absolutely. Now, yeah, see, the problem is Muro's scaring me here. The reason I don't want to shave my head is Muro points out, because everyone will say, just shave your head. Look, it worked for Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart. Not everyone can pull off a Picard, and Muro's right about that. And I do not think I'm one of those Picard heads. We'll find out soon enough. Unless I get myself a wig. All right, bringing this gentleman to the show, which should be the last call of the night, unless Ringo Starr calls in or Paul McCartney. Then I'll take those calls. Mr. Ken Plume, host of Force 5 Open Chat and a bit of a chat and a lot of great content out there on the internet now, is on the show here right now. How are you?
This is actually surprise. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
There will be no more calls tonight.
I was a couple years late on that.
I can't, of all the weeks, it's been weeks since I've been on the show.
Yeah.
The night I come on, it turns into senior talk.
Senior talk, yeah.
We're talking hair loss and prostates and ankle socks. What's going on here?
It's exactly it's what people think of when they think of Ken Plume. All right, we'll run down the list. What kind of socks do you have? What kind of hats do you have? At what age did you get them? And, where do you want to go?
I go between a normal crew sock and an ankle sock, but not an ankle sock.
Yeah, okay. We're shared on that. On that.
Because who wants that when your pants right up? Who wants to be the person that someone goes, what do you think you're at the beach? You at the club?
Right. Yeah.
No,
I agree with that.
That's a statement. That's a statement to make. I'm also not like a novelty sock guy either.
I'm not a novelty. Now I do have what's the brand? Stance. I do have some Stance socks, but I wouldn't call them novelty. I have some like different print, but they're black and white style because I normally keep to a black and white base of my clothes, and that's as far as I'll go. No Star Wars socks, no Game of Thrones, no Looney
I like
Tunes.
a quality sock. I came across a company, is Smart Wool. I started buying from because they actually have a structured sock.
This is the oldest chat show on the internet. We just said the words, I prefer a structured sock.
Listen, there's no more senior statement that you're going to get from me tonight than I like a structured. If you're looking for a structured sock.
Absolutely. No, I do like it. I do.
You buy, a bag of Hanes.
Yeah.
For enough years, you realize they're junk socks. There's a reason why socks are cheap.
Yes.
When you buy cheap socks.
Yes. So Jeff May says, I met Adam Sandler was wearing Larry Bird socks and was blown away by the fact. See, there you go. Sometimes it works. You buy the 8-pack of socks, and my biggest mistake is when I buy the new pack, I don't cycle out the old ones. So I just collect socks until they disintegrate.
Are you like that with towels as well?
No. Grace is in charge of the towels around here. So
I asked if you were like that with towels. Are you a disintegration towel person?
No. I will say this. There was a point, when you move out on your own and you're kind of doing your own thing, you forget, you don't realize you have dominion over your towels. And so it was in my mid-20s. I'd been on my own for about 4 or 5 years where I was like, I could just go to the store and buy another towel. Like, I wash them. It's not like I have a dirty, moldy towel hanging there for weeks. But, like, After a while, you just get yourself a new towel. And once I did that, I was fine until Grace took over the towels in our house.
Do you like a thick towel or a thin towel?
I like a. I can. You know what? Here's the thing. I could go either way on the towel thickness scale, but I need a large towel. I like. If I could wrap
I'll
it
go with you on
around
large.
twice.
You want a beach? You want a beach towel?
Yeah. If I could wrap it around twice, I'm good. I'm good. Walk around in it for a bit. It's a good towel.
But I think that also has a good thickness.
I think generally,
when its towel is too thick, I think you
Yes.
can't get grip on the towel.
Yeah.
Then it's
Yeah,
like a rug. Why? What do you? I'm trying to navigate a rug that my hands are slipping off because it's too fluffy.
Yeah. I like a good fluffy floor mat, but yes. And because as much as I love hotels, going to a hotel and when they have the thin, cheap hotel towels, because you're staying at a Best Western, Marriott Inn or something like that, I don't like those ones. I would tend to go thick, giggity. I'd go to the thick side.
So we're this is good. I'm enjoying this talk immensely now. Now we've gotten to some quality topics.
We're learning things here. We're learning things.
Are you? What brand of socks do you have right now? And do you go white or black?
Black socks. I do. I work out in white socks, but I wear black socks for everything else. I don't like. I used to want my shoes to be as nondescript as possible, and then eventually, when I left the mall and left the security business and kind of the public safety world, I went the other way, and I slowly, with a little confidence boost from just Grace being around me in my life, I started wearing the multicolored pink shoes and this and that. So I have pink socks and black socks. And then white and black socks, like designed stance socks.
And you go more colorful with the shoes then?
Yeah. I mean, right now it's pretty simple. I keep with a black and white Converse All-Star pair. But I think I have 8 or 9 different colored Converse shoes.
There's nothing like a black sneaker for making sure your shoes don't look dirty all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't, and I have the white Converse that are pretty much just brown yellow because you wear them once and then every germ in the city gets stuck to them. So that's fair.
But you're not a city walker. You're not.
No,
and when you exercise, you're not. Well, you did hikes. Are you done with the hikes?
I'm trying to get back to it, but I have hiking sneakers. And I said that right. Hiking sneakers that are for hikes, and then I have my regular exercise tennis shoes, which I'm due for a new pair.
Does anybody who still calls them tennis shoes?
I don't know. Is that wrong? Sneakers?
Have you ever played tennis in them?
I have. I mean, I used to play tennis regularly. Yeah, but not in this pair.
When did you play tennis?
About 10 years ago. Yeah.
Really?
My old roommate and I used to go play tennis a lot. And I used to golf. I was a golf every Sunday, tennis on a Saturday guy.
Who were you? What happened to this guy?
He got old and broken.
Happens to all of us.
And it's expensive to keep up the new clubs and the rackets, and you can't.
You don't have any open courts that you have access to?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, absolutely. Nearby, with the Burbank Toluca Lake Equestrian Center area.
It certainly is not fun on the knees, as you.
Not fun on the knees. Yeah, indeed. And I'm being accused of being, quote, so white from Kingsport, Cal. You know what? You're not wrong. Kingsport, Cal.
It's fair dues.
It is all about pickle. Loco Jandro and Twitch says it's all about pickleball these days, and that is.
But
true.
Is it? Are you watching this discourse on pickleball that people are now going? No, this is companies trying to construct a pickleball narrative.
I haven't heard that, but I'm curious about that. But before you get to that, I want to highlight Jeff May says something I disagree with. He says tennis shoes, quote, tennis shoes is the footwear equivalent of calling soda pop. I resent that, sir, because I despise it being called pop. It's not pop. Vermont Mike says it's pop, period. It is soda. It is soda.
Well, I mean, it is regional.
It's regional, but we're the best region. West Coast we have the best time zone, and what we say sets the culture. We're the West Coast, baby.
Because you also like red vines, and that's garbage.
Red vines over Twizzlers.
Red vines are garbage.
So that's why, Jeff May, I reject your idea that tennis shoes is the pop equivalent.
They are garbage licorice. What do you call your sandwich? You call it a sub?
Deli sandwich.
Okay.
When I say deli
okay,
sandwich,
well,
I'm thinking a Subway sandwich or a
we'll
or a
go with that.
hoagie or whatever you want to call it.
That's fine.
West is best. West is best.
Have you gotten your sandwich? You were supposed to get a sandwich since we last talked.
I was supposed to. Jeff May and I were gonna go. We're gonna go to lunch yesterday after yesterday after our episode, and I had a meeting. I had a meeting to get to, and we postponed the sandwich lunch.
Okay, so what is the sandwich you're getting? Do you have it constructed in your mind?
I don't know because I've never been to this place. So it's supposed to be he's gonna hold my hand and guide me through my sandwich. But I keep it pretty simple.
Well,
Turkey, cheese.
Well, let's end this conversation with I want you to go. You're going to the deli that has everything.
Yeah.
And I want you to construct from the bottom up your ideal sandwich. You're not looking at calories. You're not looking at any considerations like that. You're not looking at upsetting your stomach.
Right.
This is
Jeff
you.
Yeah. Okay. Jeff Mason's pastrami, Ben's way is what we're gonna get. I love a wheat bread. Maybe a toasted herb or something or other, but I go wheat. And then it's like maybe a turkey and a ham, lettuce, tomato, cheddar cheese, a pickle, mustard.
What kind of mustard?
Just regular deli yellow mustard. Nothing too spicy. Nothing that's going to distract me.
You're not a brown mustard person?
Not a brown mustard. I'll have it, a Dijon, a brown, whatever. But like,
is it a heat issue, a taste issue, or a texture issue?
It's just a taste. It distracts. It dominates. I want the mustard to accompany my sandwich, not lead it. And I used to do mayo. I try to cut out the mayo.
Yeah, we're not talking about that consideration though.
Yeah, but so I'll put mayo, but mostly mustard. I'm happy with just mustard. And then I'll use some spinach. I'm pretty much just making a veggie delight at Subway. Spinach, extra pickles. I love the pop of a pickle. And
solid dill.
A solid dill and olives, black olives, and maybe another round of lettuce on top. Take that home.
So you're not an onion person.
But that's usually if it's like a sweet onion teriyaki vibe. But I'll keep the onions off of a sandwich and keep them for other things. I love onions, but I don't keep them. I don't always need them on the sandwich.
You go chips or fries?
Chips. I love fries, but I don't think fries go with the sandwich. I don't think they work for a sandwich for me.
Really?
Unless it's a club sandwich at a diner.
But if it's a hot sandwich?
No, I definitely don't do hot sandwich. Don't do that. I don't do a hot sandwich. Jen Miro says, I love you to death, Cam, but that's a terrible, terrible sandwich. I'm a straightforward guy when it comes to sandwiches. I'm a straightforward sandwich guy. Not a lot of
Listen, I thought of you today. I was in the grocery store, and they had an array of 3 different Uncrustable varieties on display. They had your classic grape, strawberry, and one I hadn't seen before, which I'm sure you know about, because you know all of them, which is honey.
I do. I love that one.
Is that good?
I get it.
Is it a quality honey in it?
No.
Because that's a weird thing to also come out of the freezer with.
Yes. But no, it's my favorite Uncrustable. It's not always present at the stores. So if I see it, and it comes in a yellow, it's like a siren. Just a klaxon ringing in a hallway there. Just
yeah, I've yet to see yellow box. The savory Uncrustables, because I thought that might have been one of the savory ones.
It's same packaging, but those ones, as we determined on Twitch a while ago, were pretty horrible. But the honey Uncrustable is divine. I love it. You take that bite and the honey just squirts in your mouth. Oh, it's a party in your mouth.
So of those 3, that's your choice.
Yeah, if I have my druthers, honey Uncrustables. That's what it is.
Listen, I want you to feel young. I want you to know that you could pull off the Picard.
I don't know if I could.
And you know what? And people don't remember the early Picard. He had the side pieces.
He did have the side pieces.
He wasn't full bald. Go back and look. And you know what? He wasn't pulling it off as well.
100% right.
Go look at him in Dune.
Right. Yep. That's right. That's right. The 80s Dune kids. The 80s.
So you know what? Even the people it works for, it doesn't always work. So
takes a while.
be confident in yourself.
There you go. That's all it is, folks. That's the lesson for tonight's show. Be confident in yourself. Unless you're Harrison Butker.
And don't try that sandwich, according to Jen.
And don't try then fine. Miro, I challenge you to make me a better sandwich, and I'll have it. Mr. Kempflin, thank you for calling in. You've just put up some content on your Patreon page you want people to know about. You put up exclusive. These are classic interviews with people like Andy Serkis and others related to Lord of the Rings, right?
Like 30, 40-page interviews I did with Andy Serkis just went up. Dom DeLuise just went up. These are career comprehensive to that point. Yeah. Obviously Dom's was pretty final soon after that, but those have gone up on Patreon. They're available for free. You can read them now even if you're not a patron, but becoming a patron at the $1 level gets you access to a bunch of exclusives. Those are up. I have interviews audio from the archives with Rene Bergenois if you're a Star Trek fan, or Benson. Or the films of Robert Altman. That is up there. There is an interview with Doc Hammer from the Venture Brothers. We talk about all the holiday songs. That is one of those that are up there as well. And there's more going up. And on Instagram, I've begun posting my long Muppets clip thread that used to be on the other site that we don't talk about.
Yes.
To preserve that.
I'm still convinced those should be a YouTube channel, but we'll discuss that over Fortnite. Mr. Ken
YouTube
Bloom,
doesn't work. Doesn't work, Ken. It doesn't work. I'll talk to you soon.
See ya. Mr. Ken Bloom, talking to me here on YouTube, but also on Twitch, also on Facebook. That's the show. We're out of here. Been a lot of fun. Thank you for making this show such just a fun thing that I look forward to every week, and we're going to keep growing what we got here. Appreciate that. You can, you know where you can find me. Head on over to my website and link to all the things. I do have very soon. I'm waiting. I'll even check right now to see if the email came in. It has not come in. I am waiting to announce the date of a headlining show here in LA. I'll be headlining at Flappers Comedy Club in June. It's going to be a fun show. First time I've been asked to headline there, and I'm excited about that. So if you're local, I really, really want you to get excited and come on out. You know what? I'm not leaving yet. Nope. I had a couple super chats I wanted to highlight here. Kingsport Cal talking about thread counts on sheets. Thank you for super chat, and we'll come back to thread counts next week. KJ checking in here says thick towels for the win. Thank you for super chat. Thank you for catching up with me. Thoughts on the Acolyte trailer? I'll say briefly, I absolutely love it. I've been excited for the Acolyte since Star Wars Celebration London last year. It's been the show I've been looking forward to the most, and nothing has changed. For more detailed analysis on that, of course, go to Force Center, where Joseph Scrimshaw, Jennifer Landa, and I have taken a deep dive, I should say, into both trailers' release. I think this show's going to surprise a lot of people with how good it is. I think it's already getting some unfair hate because that's the way the world works, especially with the cast and those leading it. But I think it's a great show that's in a new era. People have been asking for that. I think it looks good. I think it is not entirely volume-based, and I think a lot of people are ready for that. So thank you, KG, for catching up with me here. I appreciate that. So that truly is it. That is the end of the show. That's what we do. And bye-bye, friends. Bye-bye.